Yes, come on! Another big win. We haven't had a win for a while, so it feels great to celebrate one. We've been waiting a while to get one, and I think it's been coming, to be fair. In some games, we've been a bit off, but in other games, there's maybe a little something to show that maybe a win has been deserved. But today was a great day, and a great game, and a great performance. I think, on the balance of the game, you could argue a draw was a fair result. But I think the fact that Villa they've been on a decent streak, so it's going to come to an end. And for us, obviously, we've just been on a very poor run, so it kind of at some point balances out. And I guess today was that day. But I think in terms of the chances, they had a lot more, and of course they had a lot more possession. But we made them pay for not being clinical, and we've had that to us a lot this season, and on this time round, we were the ones making that being paid. And yeah, I think the fact that it was a McGoldrick goal, because he's had a lot this season, but not one that's actually earned us any points. So it was great to see him actually get one that did that for us. I think, of course, it was a great goal. And I do think, I don't know if it was actually more of a shot. Well, he paced it in, ball, or more like he was trying to go for goal, but who cares? I'm not going to question it. It was a great pass the end to McGoldrick, and a great to him getting the end of it. Brewster, this was a day for him to prove why he should be playing more. Didn't really grasp that opportunity too much. I think we can all agree on that. But he's got to start somewhere and get a few running games under his belt, and just hope he'll come good, because he didn't play bad. He just didn't really get into the game much, and I think that's his problem, is that he's been at Swansea, where I didn't watch much, so I may be talking out my arse here, but you'd imagine they'd be on the ball more than we are in the Premier League games, especially this season. Point being that he's one that thrives on chances, and he likes playing for a dominant team on the ball. So this season's definitely not going to be that. So he's going to struggle, but he's going to have to adapt his game. A player that good is going to have to learn how to dispossess and counter. But when he's had the ball, he looked good. Like, it was very confident of him to have that shot where he was pretty far out, but just to hit first time, and got a lot of power behind it. Was never going to go unless it hit a deflection on the keeper. Spilt it, but it's worth a crack anyway, because there's nothing else you could do with it. So there were some good signs, but just not really enough signs, were there, at the same time. But nonetheless, half time 1-0, and I think the first half played very well. I think someone had been very harsh of for a lot of the season, in fairness, is Norwood. I think he's had a very good game today, to be fair. I think the reason I've been negative and harsh on him is just because in that midfield role, you're the one that's relied on a lot to dispossess and also get the ball moving around, and his pass has been off, but also when he's on the ball, he's been dispossessed a lot, and of course you're in a very vulnerable position that if you're losing it, you're going to be very prone to a counter-attack and not many people behind you, because he usually is almost the last man effectively. So I think that's why I'd be annoyed with him, because he's made those sort of mistakes. But today he didn't do anything like that. Played very well, and as long as he keep that sort of form up, I'm sure we should have a few more wins before the end of the season. I think Brian's someone who looks very consistent, I have to say. I think he looked really good today as well, and Padu and Jagielka looked really good as well. I don't think there's anyone that can say had a poor game today. Maybe Burke, but I just think he's just lacking a lot of confidence. But everyone played great. Ramsdale as well, brilliant performance. In terms of Villa, of course, didn't play very well. Otherwise, we would have got something from it. I think they just didn't take their chances effectively, but they did lack a lot of creativity. I think when you look at them trying to chase the game against us, they just didn't do what they should have done, and all they did was cross into the box. And I have to say, of course, I know how we play because I watch us every week, but the one thing you don't want to do is when you're playing against a back five is cross into the box, because you've got outnumbered in there, and they're players which know how to head the ball. So you're playing against a team like that, and then you've only got Watkins up front, who isn't known for his heading ability. You haven't got a target man up there, and you've got wingers in the box as well. No one can really head the ball against those sort of players. So I don't really understand that. That's probably why they're missing Grealish, because Grealish would know what to do instead of that. And that was basically it. But then moving on to the second half, of course, we'd have got into it more, and we looked pretty prone in the counter, so they were kind of doing the same tactic to us. And going on to probably one of the bigger talking points of the game, the red cards. Being biased, I would say it was never a red card. Being more sort of neutral, I'd say it's a very harsh decision. I think when you look at it, yes, if you pause it, he's not getting there, but that's because it's paused. People, Walton saying after the game that if you look at it, Brian's not getting there because he's slowing down, but that's stupid, because he's slowing down because he sees Jagielka's getting there. If he knows he's going to skin Jagielka and he's going to go past him, he's going to speed up straight away, of course, to close him down. So I don't really buy that argument. The fact the referee chose on the spot to not give it as a red sort of shows how it should have been. But of course, the people in the studio didn't agree, so they told him to have another look. And when they have another look, it's not have another look. They're basically saying, you made the wrong decision. You need to make the right one this time. Look over and make your mind up. And usually, you know, most people, in fairness, are not really going to have the balls to stick with that decision. He didn't. Uh, I can't be too annoyed at that, because I guess there's an argument, which is what they're saying in the studio, to why he shouldn't have made it yellow in the first place. But I still think it should have been a yellow. It's very harsh. And when you think the season we're having and the level of confidence we have, we really needed a win. So it would have been such a shame if that was all being put in the bin just because of a silly decision that was very harsh. And at the same time, if it was a decision where it was pending on something more, you know, now we're too far adrift. But if, say, it was only 3 points between us and safety, and that decision was still made, I think it'd be talked about very differently. But I think after that, the last half an hour just totally made my week, I'd say. It was such a great, gritty performance. All the grafting and dirty work, the heading away, the little winning fouls and clearances, everyone just put in so much. And it was just so good to see, because I'm not saying they haven't done it all season, but that, you know, they haven't had nothing to defend for a lead for, so it hasn't never been the case. But it was just so great to see. I mean, I remember us doing it against Brentford when we got promoted, and that was a lot more nervy, of course, because we had something pending on it. But this time we don't. But even so, you just really want to see us get that win. And it was, you know, it was a brilliant performance defensively. Everyone played so well. Really happy for Ramsdale. He's playing brilliant at the moment. It's so nice to see, because I as well as many, have been on his back, and he just hasn't phased him at all whatsoever. And he's shown that in the recent few games. He played really good today. Came out and caught a lot of crosses, which really helped us out, and punched them a few, but he couldn't really do much else, and it didn't affect the game obviously as well. Norwood, there was that save where he saved it off Konza, and then Norwood cleared as well. Honestly, I'm just so happy with this result. I think everyone played so well, and they deserve it. They all do. They've had such a hard season. We've beaten that Derby record now as well, another monkey off our back. So it's just so brilliant that that's done. Now we can just kind of enjoy it a bit more. We've still got the quarterfinals of the FA Cup to come as well. We're playing Southampton the weekend, who are pretty out of form as well. So either they will bounce back, or we just got to exploit this poor run of form they're in. Either way, it's a good game to run into, because you have seen that if we do get a win, e.g. Newcastle, we had to play Spurs, who were bouncing back as well, and they were just too good for us. And then when we beat Man United, we had to then play Man City. So it has been tricky for us. It hasn't been kind to us in terms of fixtures, you know. And then there was the West Ham game where we were just sort of unlucky, and we didn't take our chances, and they took theirs, and the scoreline probably flattered them a bit. Fulham game, don't really have any excuses. That was just a poor performance. But the point is that there's been games where we have bounced back, but then we've just had an unlucky fixture. This could be the one where it kind of helps us a bit, and the fact that it's a team which aren't on the best of form. But we've just got to keep capitalising. We've just got to keep this sort of intensity. And look, am I going to say it again? Of course I am. The shape, I'm still going to mention it. It is interesting. We went to back four. I think it probably was a 4-4-1, wasn't it, when we went to 10 men. And we looked very good with it. So surely there's got to be a case to do a 4-4-2 against Southampton. I know it won't happen, but just let me know in the comments, guys, after, if you did watch that match, if you agree there's a case for that, because I generally do. But onwards and upwards, on to the next game. I'm looking forward to it, I have to say, which I don't think I'll be saying for the rest of the season for for a lot of the matches that I've watched. But no, it's really cheered me up, that game, and great performance for everyone. Can't say a foot wrong. Just do a little side note for Burke, like I mentioned, probably the only player who didn't play well today. Still was a good outlet. He's the sort of player where if he could dribble, he'd be worth 70 million. Honestly, his pace is frightening, his power and his strength as well. And he's got a decent footballing brain. Like, he's done a few good passes and stuff, but he just can't dribble. He's like Bambi on ice. I just think if he could do that, he'd be such an incredible player, because there's been chances today where he's had the ball and he just can't really seem to get his feet together and break away. And if he could do that, well, he wouldn't be with us in the first place. So I'm not saying it's something to sort of be bitter about, because, well, we wouldn't have him, like I said, if he could do that. So if there's a way of us finding out and our coaching staff to do that, I think we've got an incredible player in our hands. But until then, I guess he's not really going to be starting, and I think that's why I had to go off, because he just couldn't really offer anything to help us out. And I think McBurney, in fairness, probably did as much as he did in the space of 20 minutes when McBurney wasn't there about 5 minutes. So let's just hope he can do that, because if he can, there's an incredible player in there somewhere. But if you did enjoy this video, guys, please subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below. And until next time, up the blades.